We are girls, we are not toys. Give us some respect. Come on, boys. We are girls, we are not toys. Give us some respect. Come on, boys. We are girls, we are not toys. Give us some respect. Come on, boys.
By Special Episode X07, the narrative Lobotomy, the female specimen in cinema. Hello. Welcome back to the dissection table. Today, we are going to perform a deep anatomical analysis of a very specific, very tragic mutation, the female character in modern fiction. For decades, the entertainment industry has boasted about creating strong female leads. But when you peel back the epidermis of their marketing, what do you actually find? You do not find human beings. You find biological chimeras. You find specimens that possess the external attributes of capability, but whose internal architecture has been deliberately sabotaged. They are victims of narrative butchery. Let us examine 4 concrete specimens with cold, clinical objectivity. Specimen 1, the intellectual amputee. Consider Temperance Brennan. We are repeatedly instructed to view her as a towering intellect, an elite anthropologist. Her very profession dictates a mastery of human history, culture, and social structures. Yet, the writers perform a surgical extraction of her social awareness. She cannot decode the simplest human interaction. This is a severe biological paradox. The industry operates on a pathetic equation: for a woman to be permitted extreme intelligence, she must be heavily penalized with a crippling social handicap. They are terrified of a fully functional female intellect, so they lobotomize her social cognition to make her palatable to the masses. It is not a character trait, it is a structural deformity. Specimen 2, the anatomical prop. Let us look at the circulatory system of a space opera, Ilya, in the 1979 Star Trek motion picture. A Deltan officer, highly trained, standing before Admiral Kirk, a tactical predator whose knowledge of galactic species is legendary. And what is Ilya's defining dialogue when her competence is affirmed? She reminds him that her vow of celibacy is on record. This is a fatal malformation of dialogue. It is a biological non sequitur. The writers bypassed her professional cortex entirely and reduced her to a flashing biological warning sign. By doing so, they insult her rank, and they insult Kirk's established intelligence. She is not an officer navigating a starship, she is merely an anatomical prop, constructed purely to satisfy the primitive male gaze of the era. Specimen 3, the neurological failure. We move to the realm of law enforcement with Kate Todd, an elite Secret Service agent. By definition, her training should render her an impenetrable fortress of situational awareness. Yet, during a hostage situation in a morgue, she looks into the eyes of a terrorist and suffers a massive sentimental hemorrhage. She convinces herself he is a good boy. This is not a simple mistake. It is an artificial, forced emotional fragility designed to get her killed. The writers induce a fatal vulnerability because they refuse to let a woman be cold steel. And to rub salt in the wound, the elderly male medical examiner condescendingly implies that he would not have been so easily fooled. Her death, her physical termination, is merely used as emotional fuel for the male protagonist's vengeance. She is a piece of disposable meat. Specimen 4, the hollow facade. Finally, a domestic pathology. Let's look at the French cinematic disaster of the early 2000s, Brocéliande, and its protagonist, Chloe Severin. She is an archaeology student who possesses a certain physical aggression. She violently usurps authority over a peer, Iris, claiming territorial rights she does not possess. But open her cranial vault, and you will find a structural void. She is completely blind to the manipulation surrounding her. To mask this absolute lack of cognitive substance, the writers slap on a pathetic layer of grit. She is a functional alcoholic who believes a morning aspirin is the cure for a rotting existence. She is a puppet violently thrashing on stage, totally devoid of any genuine cognitive autonomy. She punches, she drinks, but she never actually thinks. The diagnosis is terminal. The industry does not write women, it writes symptoms. It builds cages. And make no mistake, this standard of malformation is not isolated. It is a highly successful cultural export. It is an architecture of submission designed by a specific empire. But we will dissect the pathology of Anglo-Saxon imperialism next time. Key vocabulary and expressions explained. A dissection table, noun phrase, a table where bodies are cut open for examination, a metaphor for deep analysis. A biological chimera, noun phrase a monstrous creature made of fundamentally incompatible biological parts. Epidermis, noun the outer layer of skin, the superficial surface of something. Narrative butchery, noun phrase the cruel, clumsy, and destructive writing of a story or character. An intellectual amputee, noun phrase a person whose intelligence has been artificially restricted or cut off. A surgical extraction, noun phrase the precise and deliberate removal of something, usually a body part. Palatable, adjective pleasant to taste, in this context, acceptable or easy for the general public to consume. A structural deformity, noun phrase a severe flaw in the foundational build or design of a character. An anatomical prop, noun phrase an object or person used in a scene solely for their physical body, lacking any real agency. A biological non sequitur, noun phrase a physical or verbal reaction that completely defies logic and biology. An impenetrable fortress, noun phrase a structure that cannot be broken into, used here for mental toughness. A sentimental hemorrhage, metaphor a sudden, disastrous, and fatal outpouring of inappropriate emotion. To rub salt in the wound, idiom to make a painful experience even worse through a cruel remark or action. Disposable meat, noun phrase a brutal term for someone whose life has no value and is easily sacrificed. A hollow facade, noun phrase a deceptive outward appearance that hides an empty interior. To usurp, verb to take a position of power or importance illegally or by force. Cranial vault, noun phrase the space in the skull that holds the brain, used here to mean the mind. A functional alcoholic, noun phrase a person who is addicted to alcohol but manages to maintain the appearance of a normal life. Cognitive autonomy, noun phrase the capacity to think, reason, and make decisions independently. Cultural export, noun phrase the transmission of ideas, art, or social norms from one country to another. Thank you for listening. Keep boosting your English. Bye for now.